From this amazing skyline of Denver's city capital to the beautiful trails of Boulder to the open spaces of Brighton, NASCAR Ab Cup Series, after 2 days of waiting, is finally going to run the penultimate race of the season, the final race of the round of 8, on a Monday. The weather here is, although it is a bit overcast this morning, we are expected to get a little bit of sun later this afternoon. It is a fairly likely possibility. Fog was rolling in early this morning. Here's some things to catch up on. Only one qualifying session was ran earlier Friday, all the way back on Friday. We were supposed to go green Saturday night, but heavy rain, snow mix. We were supposed to shoot for a late Sunday afternoon start. However, we couldn't even get that off the ground. So we moved the race to Monday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. And here's some of the news here in the Championship 4. You got 6 guys fighting for 2 spots. And as you look at the only 2 guys who are remotely safe right now are Caleb Hoffman and Jacob Tube, who both won races in this round. Jacob Tube was going to be safe in Phoenix no matter what because of all the points he acquired. But if you're looking at somebody like Hunter Rizzoni or Dylan Murway or Derek Lewis, your approach to this race, that's easy. Win. Especially if you're the 2 Stewart Haas cars now at the bottom. Because what else do you have to lose? You either need to win or hope there's a problem with one of the 4 guys in front of you. While we look, here is your starting lineup rolling across the bottom of the screen. As the remaining bit, as what do you think what are we going to expect here this morning, late morning, early afternoon here at Brighton? Pretty simple. It's going to be it's going to be a very cold racetrack on the start. This place is treated fairly similar to New Hampshire in terms of grooves. You can run down on the flat, you can run on the bottom. Very rarely you might see some guys venture further up towards the middle lane, but the outer groove is definitely going to be seen as no man's land this afternoon. You see the the grid. By the way, we interrupt anything that was supposed to be going live here on NBC Sports. TNT had tape delayed coverage of a blacked out LA Lakers versus Denver Nuggets game from late Sunday night. That rolled into Monday. So now their NBA had prior commitment on TNT. So you're watching this race on your local NBC affiliate. Glad we can have you with us. Definitely a pretty moving scene here a few moments ago as we saw the Liberty University Chevrolet driven by Jacob Tube with Liberty University doing a pretty big getting a fairly big standing ovation with the honor of what they're going to be doing, working with the Brighton Chamber of VFW, being able to pull side by side with the pace car being driven by Denver Broncos former head coach Mike Shanahan, who is in attendance Sunday night in the Broncos in the game with the Denver Broncos versus the Indianapolis Colts. Broncos squeaked out a narrow win with a late game field goal by Jason Elam. But today we got our own drama. 8 men, 4 spots. Let's go scan all. Let's listen to WB Network and Clayton Hughes and Cole Pern. All right, gang. 20 laps around very cold racetrack this afternoon. Expect a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving. Possibility of a lot of action here. Make sure we stay clean, stay out of trouble, and if we have to, get physical at the end. Bill Murway talking to owner Tony Stewart on the radio moments ago. Hey, bud, just stay smart. Get as much points as you can. Hope that one of the 3 guys in front of you has a lot of have massive problems, and we should be in this and able to take you to Miami. Good luck down there, boys. And Nate Sherman, who is holding on by a narrow margin over the 78 of WB Network, and that narrow margin is 2 points between these two. Joshua Leanbatch clinches a spot, which means he does have it, but if he finishes lower than 29th this afternoon, he will be out. All right, gang, 20 laps. We've been here before, so just run our race. Be smooth, make no mistakes, and we'll be there at the end. This one's all you, baby. That was Earl Barber talking. And that statement is right. It's going to be all these 8 drivers taking away from the focus of the other 26. Here this late morning here in Brighton, early afternoon here on the East Coast. Glad you can spend your lunch with us on NBC. The green flag is out. Wow, Caleb Hoffman with an amazing start here on the bottom. Seems like the bottom is the best lane around. Jacob Tube had a tough time on that start. Yet, again, he wanted to have warm tires for when this race went green. We talked about it all the way back on Friday with how cold these temperatures are here typically in November. Drivers want warm tires. Also, another upside too, Wally, is how the way this groove is. You can already see a little bit of 3-wide racing here for 5th. Dylan Murray barely has a nose on the 42, or barely drew a beat on him. Here, Caleb Hoffman leads lap 1. As you look at this, Joshua Leanbatch not wasting any time for a teammate here going into 1 as he takes the lead from Caleb Hoffman. Trouble down here on the front stretch. We got 1 car that snapped sideways. That is the 3 of Jonathan Morrison. Unclear why. He gets drilled in the left rear by the 21 of Xavier Sodreska. As he came back across the racetrack, there was a 3rd car and a lot of damage to both the 3 and the 21. Here looks like there's 3 cars wadded up. And the caution flag is quickly out. As you saw right there, Jonathan Morrison looked like there's rumors that his car just snapped, looked like on understeer with The way these cars run, his car may have just cut loose on him. Going into one while he was trying to pass the 20. And it looked to me like he also was trying to leave a lane. Left a lane, as you see the major damage to the left rear of the 3. And that's why the third car involved. You see Hot Wheels 44. Yeah, we got damaged. Just par for the course for a tough season for Childress. Not getting a win since season 4. Since all the way back in season 3. Sorry. Hot Wheels 44 and just not being lucky because he's just found the wrong place, wrong time. As you can see, he's already taken the window net down. Yep, he's done. Take it to the house. Thing's fucking killed. Alright, thing's just destroyed. Xavier Sodresco is the other car involved in this. And you look at the points picture now, Dylan Norway has moved up to 6th. If he can make any moves here, extra moves here, he could point himself in the top 4 and just hope he doesn't get caught in something bigger than expected. Back here at Brighton in a moment. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. All right, guys, make sure you check things. Make sure everything's up and running. Looks like there's quite a bit of damage to the 3. There's a lot of damage to the 3 as they came by. Jonathan Morrison has made multiple pit stops because of this damage. Pace car coming off. Back here at Brighton, while the lap counter has stopped, we do like to remind you that there are some pretty big news. There's some pretty big news here regarding the playoffs and obviously Pikes Peak being announced back around Talladega that they're going to join the Roval bandwagon next year. The June 30th race, the final race on NASCAR on Fox before we take over at Daytona. That race will be done on the road course. Also, speaking of road courses, New Hampshire loses its date, and these guys get to go up north to Canada, racing on the beautiful Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, which that facility is no stranger to NASCAR's racing its 14-turn road course. A lot of its races were typically run in the rain, so how about this? A road course to open the chase, and which means Brighton and North Carolina swap dates. So what this race will now become the second race of round 1, still keeping its Saturday night date intact. So North Carolina takes Brighton's place as the penultimate race, and we knew how aggressive people got in North Carolina, how many torn up cars there were leading into Dover this year. Imagine it being an eliminator race and then having Atlanta follow the next week. What a throwback to the older for the older NASCAR fans. What a throwback. And tell you what is not a throwback. WB Network making an aggressive move on the restart. Back to the gas. 4 wide for a moment. Nate Sherman tried ducking out. He thought better of it. WB Network makes a bold 3 wide move into turn 1. It's lap 4, and these guys are racing like it's Talladega. 3 wide, 2 rows deep. We may get another caution here if these guys aren't careful. Bottom two. Whoa, 4 wide right here. They're still fanning out side by side up front between a couple Gibbs teammates. Caleb Hoffman being pushed way back in traffic, but out front, WB Network outbreaks the 18 going into turn 1. Now there's more cars continuing to back up. Caleb Hoffman, who originally started this race as the leader, has fallen all the way to 14th and maybe more as he loses a spot to Peyton Beasley. A horrible slide back on this restart for the Texas winners. There's a problem behind in turn 2. One car up and loops it around. It's like a problem off 2. We do stay green. It was the 17 of Alvin Alonso. He's able to loop it around a little bit. And, a lot of damage here to the 83, it looks like. In the midst of all this, the car just snapped, I think. Meanwhile, nice little side exchange for 4th right here. Paula Moon doing a nice little slide on the 4 of Dylan Murway. A little bit of a slide job. Takes the spot. I guarantee you the 4 is going to probably remember that for later in the race. That little move the 88 made on the 4 was definitely seen as aggressive, but he's just... Remember, Paula Moon was eliminated in round 1 after Dover. He doesn't care. What the 4 thinks. He's going for all he's got. He's showing that he will be back here next year. So I say, just let him race. And it looks like the caution has come out yet again. Reports of possible fluid on the racetrack. Leading to one car into the wall. Not sure who that was. One car did get up into the wall a little bit, and there were several that slid as well, leading to a big wreck. Oh wow, hard damage here. The 16 of Brendan Little. Dude, stop the car, stop the car. Stop the car, please. Just stop the freaking car. Almost was like the damage in a lot of things what happened to that little span of laps, especially for the 29, who's trying to miss the 17 avoid T-boning him. Instead, the 83. All right, so let's go back. Let's look at these chain of events from the beginning. So, just a reminder that the racetrack was still green. Green here, up to this point. See the 17 just snapped loose up front. 17 just spun out. Off the side of the 20. Then he was able to loop it around surprisingly quickly during that spin, which generated a lot of smoke, already combining it with the visibility that these drivers have. Again, due to the amount of snow and amount of fog that was here earlier this morning. That was dissipated around 9:15 locally. Then the first contact, the 83 went by on the ran, slowed down enough, but made heavy contact between both the 83 and the 29. And then there was more contact here, it looked like, between the 83 and the 55, which in turn broke the radiator of that car, which in turn led to this big accident in turn 1. What in the world? He was slipping in some oil. Slid him out of the line. Oh my God. Big hit. Crash down here in turn 2. Remember, obviously due to the safety concerns of recent crashes over on the Monster Energy side of things, NASCAR has added a lot of safety improvements, especially after Kyle Busch's accident back in 2015. 2015 comes to mind. And by the way, the red flag has been displayed for a pretty hard 2-car accident, leaving a lot of debris. What if Racing being told to take it to the garage, and moments ago I got word from David Hoots to take it to the trailer. Coming up later this week on NBC is the premiere of 30 Rock. The season premiering later tonight at 8. And then Wednesday at 9/8 Central is the season return of Lost. And then this week's Saturday night movie, Men in Black. Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith look to save the world from an alien invasion. Men in Black, the movie premiering after conclusion of the NASCAR Xfinity Series race from Homestead Miami Speedway. Now, and after that, it's going to be a special doubleheader as well, especially since Thanksgiving on the football side of things. Sunday night, two future defensive legends do battle. Ray Lewis and the Ravens. Welcome home. Champ Bailey and the Denver Broncos. O's coverage for that begins at 7:30 with kickoff beginning at 8. As usual, commentary will also always have Al Michaels and John Madden. And as you look off into the distance here locally from is seen earlier this morning from Riverdale High School, as we look at our NBC Sports cameras out there. Sun. First time all weekend. The sun is beginning to come out. First time we've seen that all weekend, I'll tell you what. You see What If Racing taking the walk to the trailer. In fact, which the trailer is actually stationed not far up the road from here. Normally, on races that they run here on weekends, especially when they run the night races, they typically use the main principal's office as the big red truck for this race. Makes you think you're really in trouble. Oh, yeah. Go to the bus isn't as menacing as go to the principal's office. Ask many a driver. They'll tell you. By the way, the red flag has been withdrawn. As we take a look at the standings right now, they are saying that WP Network and Josh William match are in as we speak, leaving, and Jacob Tube is in as well with his win. Back at ISM Friday night. Obviously, some other news. A lot of Colorado natives hoping for a spot in the championship, and to have a say at how this title plays out next Sunday at Atlanta. Coverage for that begins at 12:30 p.m. Eastern with a special 2-hour pre-race show, including a full-on war room style introduction of the 4 championship drivers. We know 2 of them. We're going to figure out the other 2 today at the end of the afternoon. We know who they are, and we know who the other 4 are not going to the championship round. Back here at Brighton in a moment. Several cars did not elect to pit that last time. And this restart is going to be led by the one at Grace Nalcepto. Green flag. Heck, back in the air. First car that took tires is all the way back in 12th. Derek Lewis forces his way in there with his teammate. Derek Lewis comes out with the lead, coming off at 2. Four wide, too low, too low, too low. Alright, too low, clear. 4 wide, 2 down low, 1 up top, 2 down low, 2 down low. Alright, clear 3. Clear 3, come on. Clear 3 here. 3 low, 3 low. What a mad dash for the win. It's the Thornton, Colorado native who moved out to Brighton a few years ago. Fighting for his playoff life. As there's a problem here on back. Oh, big problem. Here looks like Blake Dillon, Darnell Matthew are 2 of the people involved. Oh, a lot of cars here. More people involved. As you see the 25 and Noah Spalding down here. It was it looks like a dozen cars are involved. Close to a dozen. Jonathan Morrison again involved in this. Xavier Sadreska, remember those 2 are involved in the lap 2 scuffle, where Morrison slid into the path of 21. This damage is terminal. It's done. A lot of these cars really could fix the damage, maybe pull the fenders out. But there's some just take it in. Like the 21, notably. Obviously the 17, the 15. Let's take a look at what happened. There's a huge clog towards the front. It's because Peyton Beasley was really beginning to slow the 6 up. And the 6 got tipped. Both those cars hit the wall, and it actually started way before this. Everyone got out of the gas. And this accordion went back quite a ways. And then Zorix Moon, KFC Cupsters ran in each other. Nate Sherman, who was trying to get back from a pit penalty, ran into the back. And then everyone knows the rest. Crunch. Wow. Look at that. This is how cold it's been. you can see the snow and everything just kick up off the ground. So involving crash, this was the first big one. Obviously, we didn't want this to happen. Now, after taking more cars to the garage, including those 2 Roush cars and the 3 of Jonathan Morrison, and I tell you what, those 2 have definitely seen better days. So Apollo Moon is not on this next restart. Apollo Moon has not won a race since Daytona earlier this year. And Apollo Moon had his hopes crushed pretty heavily at Dover. Multiple crashes on the day kept him from moving on to round 2. Now he's looking for his second win of the year. He's got 4 laps to do it. Four laps of racing to go. Green flag. Meanwhile, on the playoff side, Derek Lewis with a terrible start. Now, as you look at this, he is just a few points out. He spins his tires going up into 1. Apollo Moon escapes the chaos. Plus with teammate Jacob Tube in tow. 3 wide for the lead up the middle. He brings the 2 car with him. Apollo Moon lets the 24 get inside. He is using every inch of his track. Dylan Murray trying to make something happen, fighting for his playoff life. Door to door with the 2. 3 to go. Now I think is where you're going to see the 19 drivers get a little aggressive here. The 18 hits the 2. He wants to move him here. Hunter Miller making some progress. We have not talked about him at all today. Three wide through 3 and 4. 2 Gibbs cars, 1 Penske car. But up front, Apollo Moon is checked out right here. As Apollo Moon gets tipped up the track into the fence. And Sulfur turn 4. Big hit. Gets caught up in it. Derek Lewis, 2 chase contenders are in this. Oh my god. Multiple cars pile in. Zach Speed, Zox Moon, KFC Cup Series. All of these cars continue to pile up off turn 4. Caution comes out. Red flag also comes out. Go low here, man. Big freaking wreck. Big freaking wreck, dude. Big wreck. Car is destroyed. I don't feel confident about this. And you still look pretty fast and still runnable. Just you gotta pound the hood out in case anything happens. You're just gonna have to wait and see. The 2 of Robert Smith took some nasty shots of this. Also involved the 22 of Zox Moon, the 20 of Zach Speed, the 1 of Grayson Alcevdo. He hit the left front wheel of the 2 incredibly hard. But the question is, with how aggressive the 18 was, and so was a good bit of the field on that restart, what do you see drivers doing? Do you see a lot of them making it 3, 4 wide? We're going to have an overtime restart, and the rule is if you make it to that center line on the backstretch where the 11 is facing right, more people were involved in this accident as well. You see the 43 facing right. If you get there and there's an accident, the race is over and your chase hopes may be done. But as you look at the 2 chase contenders that got caught up in this, there may have been a third. The 18, obviously, with that nose damage from hitting the 2. As of right now, let's look at the playoff picture. Jacob Tube and Caleb Hoffman are in. Right now is Dylan Murway is up by 1 over the 18. So as long as Dylan Murway doesn't have any issues, and the 18 doesn't have any major issues as well, and barring any disasters, the 78 is going to have to put the bumper to somebody here on this restart once we get back going. Yeah, once we know who's left. There are rumors that. Now let's listen to the radios of the 48 of Chad Knaus just before they pulled these drivers to the red flag. Man, that got our front end has just killed guys from hitting the 42. No, man. You're still good. You smashed the nose in a little bit. I'd be a bit more worried about the 42 because he's a lot closer in our competition. Then the 48, then the 78. You as of right now are 2 points out. So as long as this, all you'd say, buddy, go like hell. Go like hell in this restart. And over to Chad Johnston as we listen to a mic'd up onboard of this past incident. Hang on. Watch two. He's coming back. Oh. Hang on. Looks like we may have... Oh, we got a lot of damage here. The suspension may be bent. It's getting pretty tight to steer. You good? Thing's fucking hard to steer. As both of these cars are going to have to come to pit road. While in the meantime, Alvin Alonso is just return to the racetrack multiple laps down. Anyways, update, the field will expand to 36 next year with the addition of the 12th car. R from Roger Penske. Penske's 13, being fielded by Menards Cup Series. And with Menards and the 2017 shutting down, obviously, due to all the wrecked race cars, so obviously Menards Cup Series wants to go out in his time with RCR with a pretty big bang. And here we go. Final restart. All right, the red flag was lifted. And as you see down on pit lane, Derek Lewis going on the damage clock. Nate Sherman actually he came in. You see his crew, he actually was keeping 9th place, shockingly. Even though many people had expected him to pit because of the radiator. How punched in that is. Now, just a reminder, a fairly familiar scene for all of us this year. The overtime line. If the leader makes it to that center line on the backstretch, and there's a wreck, the race is over. If the leader makes it around and does not make it there and there's a caution, like judging by the way that this race has been, that might be the case. We'll line them up, do it again, as many tries as it takes. Overtime, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Here we go. And Paul Moon got a great start. Caleb Hoffman spun the tires. Going into one. We got going. Apollo Moon holds nice and steady. Joshua Leanbatch gonna use the 4 as a backboard. Apollo Moon gets to the overtime line. The race is on. Oh, trouble turn 2. Got one around. They are still green. Oh, now they're wrecking all over. We got one in the wall. Maybe a flat on the 6. Here on the back, the race is still green. Now, Apollo Moon. Joshua Leanbatch. One last lap here at Brighton. Joshua Leanbatch fighting for his life to stay alive in the playoffs. Can he get to the 18? 88. Tell you what, if he gets there, he's going to turn him. Four car may have a problem. Losing power right here. Now up front, here it is. What? Everything is chaos right now. Oh, crash on the backstretch. This may be the race. Cars are spinning all over the place. It's here on the last lap. And Apollo Moon is able to hold off an aggressive Joshua Leanbatch, hounding him on the last lap as Apollo Moon wins the Credit One Bank 300 presented by DFW. Hell yeah, boys. Wow. Awesome job. All day. We got cars all over the place here. Now we look at their championship picture going into the end of this race. The yellow did wave off of turn 4. Yep, this one's going to be hotly talked about for a long time. Oh, here we go. On the cool down lap, oh boy. Caleb Hoffman showing his displeasure. Peyton Beasley in the 6, up against the wall at the checkers. That those two got into a heavy crash in turn 2. That then led to second incident further up. Hunter Miller in the 5 in the snow bank on the backstretch. But Apollo Moon stuns everyone here at Brighton, holding off an aggressive Joshua Leanbatch. As we look at, question is, who got in? And we are getting word that Joshua Leanbatch and WB Network and Hunter Zoni, we are looking at the 78-41. And speaking of Caleb Hoffman, he's None too pleased. While Apollo Moon sits right here, he's currently celebrating. Yeah, that checkbook may be getting a little fatter. Get your pocketbook out. Now let's see where this goes. Oh, here we go. Hoffman has stopped. Caleb Hoffman is known as one of the more aggressive veterans in the garage. He does not hesitate to let somebody know when they messed up. Oh, he's getting out of the car. Window net is down. Oh, Peyton Beasley get out. Oh, they're going to talk. Nope, they're going to go at it here. Caleb Hoffman has grabbed Peyton Beasley, thrown him in a chokehold. And now crew members from both teams are going at it here. Down behind the stands here at the start-finish line. Advocare crew members have immediately ran to the scene. And now it's a 11-man, now it's a 20-man, now it's a 30-man mosh pit as FedEx crew members are trying to get Caleb Hoffman out of there. Both drivers not happy at all. Looks like this situation may be diffused. Caleb Hoffman furious right now down on pit road with the way that race ended. As there's some blood there between on Caleb Hoffman. Looked like here we go. Now we got more issues down here. Peyton Beasley has ran across the street onto the sidewalk, and Caleb Hoffman has chased him down. Now there's a fist fight between these two. Caleb Hoffman is livid. He is one of the members of Championship 4, so it's very curious to see what NASCAR is going to do about this. Do they strip him of Championship 4 of that right? An ugly way to what was considered by many considered to be a terrific race. The results fly by on the top of your screen. By the way, we will get any news from the Caleb Hoffman fist fight. There are Adams County PD at the scene to probably take the drivers in, both the drivers involved in separate cars. After what was considered by many, and oh, by the way, our very own Marty Snyder is down on the front stretch with Apollo Moon. So, Mr. Moon, how's it feel to show that you're going to be contending for the championship next year? Oh, God, that was crazy. How about that, Brighton? You want some more? Yeah, we had a great car all day. Greg and the guys basically spent all of Sunday tuning this car for a Monday race because we knew the weather in the area this was going to be the case, obviously, with the snow. No falling down. The snow being a major concern, we obviously knew that was going to play a big part in how this race played out. And we took advantage of it, and we're in victory lane ahead of the chaos. Glad fans also got to see a little bit of UFC 229 NASCAR style. Also, go Broncos. It's Ball and Moon showing love to the home football team that played yesterday. We'll have another game Sunday night on NBC. Yeah, that's right. The Ravens and Chargers going to be Ravens and Broncos going to be playing at MetLife Stadium. Interesting to see what Mr. Keenum is going to do. So, fine. The official championship 4 list. We have made it through multiple races. The 2 drivers on the right have made it in on points. The 2 drivers in the middle made it in based on wins. Anyways, qualifying begins at 7 p.m. Eastern Friday night over on TNT. Coverage will be seen on CNNSI as well. Final race of the year. Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, coverage of the Napa Auto Parts 300 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's our NASCAR Busch Series, and then the NASCAR Xfinity Series side. We'll have the Ford EcoBoost 400 also on NBCSN. Then Championship Sunday. Coverage begins at 12:30 p.m. Eastern with a 2-hour pre-race show featuring these 4 men walking out to some pretty killer songs I have planned for you guys. Then at 3 p.m. Eastern, the final race. 4 men, 500 miles, one of NASCAR's fastest tracks. Ooh boy. One can only predict and imagine the chaos that will happen. That race will be seen on NBC. Coming up later on here on the NBC here on the East Coast, it is paid programming followed by back-to-back reruns of Reba on the East Coast. And on the West Coast, this will also be seen on TNT as well, will be a retaping of the Today Show from earlier before we began our coverage. Of this race on NBC today. Congratulations to Paul and Moon for reviving the chaos. And congratulations to these 4 men. 500 miles and the season is done. So long from Brighton.